You once talked about how Christ never laughed, but does God have a sense of humor? What role should humor take in our lives? And what do you think of stand-up comedy as a participatory art form? So, yeah, I guess it's a tricky question. For sure, the tradition that Christ didn't laugh is there. Saint John Chrysostom talks about it, and others, and it's there. Like Christ never laughs in the scripture, so you can improvise, and you can say that it doesn't say that he doesn't laugh, but he doesn't laugh in the scripture. You don't see him laughing. So and so I think there's a reason why Christ doesn't laugh. I think that in the context of the incarnation, it has to do with the idea that he is fully in control of himself, right? That he, like when in himself, he is not influenced by the exterior, or at least not in an accidental way, because that's what laughter is. At least when you laugh, it's usually a surprise, right? You don't plan to laugh. It's just something that happens to you, and it's kind of a loss of control. So I think that that's why this tradition is important, and that's why it's part of the Christian tradition. You could say that when Christ submits to outside influence, he does it willfully, right? So when his passion, for example, is a passion that is taken upon willfully. Now, does God have sense of humor? I think yes. I think there are some things in the Bible that are really funny. There are some stories in the Bible that are very funny. The book of Jonah is definitely funny. I don't know what to say. I think the book of Jonah is a comedy in the way that we think of a comedy now. Like it's silly. It's got all these weird upside down things happening, and Jonah, Jonah's whiny and complaining, and it's just funny. I saw an actor once when I was young, when I was a teenager. I saw an actor act the whole Jonah out. He just read it. He learned it by heart, and he just recited it, and he was acting it out, and it was hilarious and he was just reading the text. He wasn't like adding anything to it. He was just basically reciting the text with expression, and it was really funny. And I think there are other jokes for sure in scripture. So, and so what is? I mean, I don't have a problem with stand-up comedy. I think the problem with stand-up comedy. I don't have a problem with jokes. I think that but you kind of have to understand what they are. You kind of have to understand that jokes are often, things that twist meaning. They're inversions. They are kind of parodies on meaning, and they have their place, let's say, at the end of the day in the moment of rest. But you just have the problem with us is that we're just drowning in it. I mean, that's the problem. For example, here in Quebec, we have like a school of stand-up comics. We have the Just for Laughs festival here, and so we have like the Just for Laughs school, and then people like go and learn to be stand-up comics, and it's like we just have every year we have this like new batch of stand-up comics that just like appear on the scene, and it's as if like we have this weird idea that stand-up comedy is like the most cultural thing we can produce, and so I think that there's a weird excess about stand-up comics, but for sure, I think they can play a role. If you look at some of the effects that stand-up comics are having, they can point out that the emperor has no clothes. Ricky Gervais today, I think it was today or a few days ago, he put out a video. You might have seen it where he's in the bathtub, and he is saying, he's like, I'm a celebrity, and so. You should take for serious, like, because I'm a celebrity, I know about everything. And so you should vote for who I tell you to vote. And if you don't, then it's a hate crime, and it hurts my feelings, and I'm going to leave the country. And it was just like, it was really funny. It's really funny. So, I would say you always need that. You always need that to kind of break. Yeah. Susan Wilcox says the story of Gideon is funny too. It's like, there's literally like a joke. There's a joke just before the crucifixion in scripture. And it's in the book of St. Mark, when the disciples run away, one of the disciples running away, and then a Roman grabs him by the tunic, and he just like strips him naked, and he runs away naked. That's a joke, folks. It's like, it's meaningful. It has to do with something about the nakedness of shame. It has to do with it has to do with Noah in his tent. It has to do with Adam and Eve in the garden. Obviously, it's not that it's not meaningful, but it's definitely a joke. That's why I never think I've ever seen it in a Jesus movie, because it'd be hard not to laugh if you saw that in a movie, you know. So yeah. Thomas says no laughing. That's not what I saw in The Chosen. Yeah. The modern popular Jesus laughs all the time. He's always laughing because he's just a happy-go-lucky guy. You know, he's just laughing, and always laughing. And, you know, that's what's ridiculous. That's why, that's why, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to criticize The Chosen too much.